Joining me now, Elaine Parker, Chief Communications Officer of the Job Creators Network, the little engine that could, and I say that with love, the Job Creators Network, a tiny little staff, every dollar they spend is meaningful, it does something. They epitomize action, action, action. They have single-handedly done so many things for small businesses, and Elaine Parker, part of that organization. They took an ad out today in the Wall Street Journal. If we could put that ad up, David. This was after the asinine town hall yesterday of Biden. And basically it says, who will be the most economically destructive of them all? And it's Joe Biden talking to the mirror for those on the radio. And in the reflection is Jimmy Carter. I don't think Carter compares to Biden. I take Carter right now in a heartbeat over this guy. I mean, the town hall meeting yesterday, Elaine, I sat there. First of all, it was painful. I mean, I really had to struggle to sit through it. Second of all, I couldn't believe what I was saying. I mean, this guy, first of all, he's not president. Trump won. But he's economically illiterate. I got to play one cut here. Let's go to cut 5, and then I'm going to get to Elaine. Here's Biden yesterday. I couldn't believe this, saying if we spend another $6 trillion, inflation will go down. Although we learned in the 7th grade that the exact opposite is true. Run the tape.
Look, here's the deal. Moody's today, when a Wall Street firm, not some liberal think tank, said if we pass the other two things I'm trying to get done, we will in fact reduce inflation. Reduce inflation. Reduce inflation.
Elaine, I've never seen anything like this in my life. In middle school, you're taught, when they actually taught you something, I don't know what the hell they're doing now, but in middle school, you were taught that when too much money is chasing too few goods, that price goes up. That's called the supply and demand curve, right? It goes up, and as demand goes up and supply stays the same or goes down, the price goes up. This is like a moronic statement. This guy, what did you make of this last night, Elaine?
Well, thanks for having me, John. And look, after seeing what Joe Biden has done for the last 6 months, I'd like to thank him for doing nothing for the last 47 years. He was in Congress when we had President Carter in office and the damage that was inflicted under those misguided economic policies, which caused very high inflation, job loss, and hurt Americans overall. And Americans have seen this story before. The polls show that 85% of Americans are very concerned about inflation. And here's the reason why. I can throw a bunch of economic numbers at you, the CPI and the PPI, but here's what matters to Americans. The cost of milk, bread, eggs, and gas is very expensive. That's what they're seeing, and that's what they're feeling. And if Biden wants to stand on stage and tell the American people, just keep doing what we're doing, isn't and expecting a different result, isn't that the definition of insanity? We've got to stop recklessly spending this money. We've got to stop putting employers in competition with the government for labor, and we've got to get Americans back to work. Again, we saw a consistent, an increase of 51,000 more people applying for unemployment. Ironically, a week after they sent out the child tax credit checks last week. We've got to stop incentivizing people to stay home. So spending more money is not the answer. Incentivizing people to go back to work is the answer.
Well, look, you live in Florida. I live in Virginia. I've traveled the South with my son playing baseball. I've been to West Palm Beach. I've been to Atlanta this summer, around Georgia 2 times, North Carolina, Alabama, Birmingham. Doesn't matter, Elaine, where I go, there's a help wanted sign. And you and I, kindred souls, we believe in the sanctity of small businesses, how important they are in driving the economy. Elaine, there's not a small business owner I know. They tell me the number one problem they have is getting people to come to work. They can't find workers. And they're competing with the federal government, people getting $800, $900 a week. Now they're getting money for children. And now they have to raise prices because they have to pay $15, $16 an hour. $18 an hour to compete with the government. I mean, this is complete insanity. And if you watch Biden last night, it's like he has no clue about what the hell he's doing. He's clueless. So I don't know, is he illiterate? Is he just dumb? Is he senile? What's the deal with this guy?
Look, this is their opportunity to try and push through all of the socialistic left-wing policies that they have been trying for years. When you look at that $3.5 trillion framework that Schumer announced last week, it's basically a wish list of the Democrats. I mean, since when is free childcare and free college? Since when is that infrastructure? Are we going to just call all social programs infrastructure? They're not. And it's reckless to spend this money. And we continue to call upon all Republicans and, frankly, reasonable Democrats not to vote for any more reckless spending, because it is hurting the American people. It is a fairy tale for Biden to stand on stage and try to convince the American people that spending more money is going to help them.
Well, you mentioned infrastructure, and I was saying this on my radio show a couple of days ago. I got a press release from Janet Yellen and the United States Department of Treasury. And they were bragging about the fact that in June, they had doled out $6.1 billion, that's what it'd be, $billion in rental assistance. I didn't even know we had this program. It's called ERA, something rental assistance, earn rental assistance or something. And they had doled out $6.1 billion in June, which they said was bigger than the entire 12 months combined. And they were saying, wow, this is fantastic. And right in the press release, it said they're going to be pushing to make rental assistance at this level part of the United States infrastructure for its people. What does that mean, part of the infrastructure? What does that have to do with building a road? It's just another social program. Unbelievable.
Right, and they're hiding this spending under the guise of infrastructure, and it's not. And we need only to look at other countries, whether it's Cuba or Venezuela, and see how these types of policies hurt the people who are supposedly going to benefit from them. What helps people is getting back to work, not paying them to stay home. After a year of a pandemic, our country was turned upside down by this pandemic. Small businesses were closed left and right. We've lost a lot of small businesses. And now we're staring at higher taxes to pay for all of this reckless spending, when if we could just get our businesses open and people back to work, we can get this. We're due for a vaccine recovery, a vaccine-induced recovery. If Biden would just let it happen. And stop trying to pass these bills and convince the American people that the best way to go is more spending.
Elaine, I'm a big believer in small businesses and the Job Creators Network. I've got about a minute. Tell our audience, if you own a small business, why becoming a member of JC and the Job Creators Network is so critical.
Well, the Job Creators Network, we're a national advocacy organization. We were very much behind helping to amplify the voice of small businesses when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed. And so issues that impact job creation and small businesses and what we call Main Street small businesses. These are the hairdressers and the pizza parlors and the dry cleaners, the folks who they're the chief cook and bottle washer in their businesses, and they don't have time to go to Washington and talk to their congressmen and their representatives. And so what we do is we advocate for them on policies that help them grow their businesses, like lower taxes and less regulations, or less red tape, as some people call it, so that they can just focus on doing what they do best, and that's run their businesses, create jobs, and contribute to their communities.
And how do people get involved with your organization? If you own a small business, where do they go? I'm a member. It's the best membership that Anna and I have, because you guys really fight for us. Where do they go?
Well, thanks, John. They can go to joinjcn.com and become a member. There's a lot of great information on our website, so come on and join.
Go to joinjcm.com like we have, joinjcn.com, because the other Chamber of Commerce, all they want is your money. They don't care if you live or die. JCN is actually fighting for you.